Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Marty Littleton, and I would like to ask you to, we're going to call this meeting to order and say the Pledge of Allegiance if you guys would join us. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Some of you probably already met most all of us, but as a matter of formality, I'm going to take the time for us to introduce ourselves. My name is Marty Littleton. I live on Freemanville Road, down by Milton High School.
Carl Hayes. I live off of Hopewell, Double Creek Lane. Doesn't have a name for the subdivision.
Laura Weissong. I live in the Crooked Creek subdivision.
And I'm Steve Check. I live in Nettlebrook Farms.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I get someone to make a motion to approve the June action minutes?
I make a motion to approve the June action minutes.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good to go. Number 4 on our list, moving along, is demolition reviews, and let's start off with 12855 Hopewell Road.
Good afternoon. I'm Jeff Hosen with Beezer Homes, and we're here tonight seeking approval for demolition of 12855 Hopewell Road. This is a single-family residence which is in the middle of our Glen Haven project, which is currently under development.
Any questions?
I have no questions. It's ready to go.
Okay, would anybody like to make a motion to go ahead and approve the demolition?
I'll make a motion to approve the demolition of the house at 12855 Hopewell Road for Glen Haven.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can I make a quick
Go ahead.
comment here? And Angela's kind of maybe, more of a kind of a how the ordinance is written. Mm-hmm. But this request, it seems to me that it's a bit odd or to come to the DRB for a demolition of a house on a project that was zoned, went through all the land disturbance process, and it seems like it may be best, this type of request may be better suited to be handled at either during the staff comments or approval or the engineering review and LDP instead of, kind of going through the design review board. And I don't know why it was set up that way, but this is just kind of one of those things where I go, here, this may be best suited to be handled during the review of the zoning or development permit.
So there are two ways that you can do a demo. You can get a separate demo permit, and the ordinance does require that a demo permit go before the board, or you can include all the demolition work as part of the LDP, as you suggested, and that does not require a separate demo permit, but I guess the downside is you have to wait till the LDP is approved, and I don't know.
So there's another avenue to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Some people don't. Some people need to do the demo like now, prior to the LDP, or it wasn't on the original LDP.
Got it.
I don't know.
Got it.
So.
Okay.
Everybody good?
All right.
Good.
Okay. Number 5 is the final reviews. We're going to start off with townhomes for 13325 through 13335 Flamingo Road, Hidden Forest. Is Javad here?
Javad has actually requested that we defer his review until next month because he's out of town.
Okay. Is that something we need to make a vote on?
Since you called it, yes.
Okay. Somebody want to make a motion to postpone this to next
I'll
month?
save Steve. I'll make a motion that we postpone the townhome review for 13325 to 335 Flamingo Road.
I will second.
Second.
Marty, just for the record, I want you to know we did meet with this applicant,
Mm-hmm.
and he was in agreement with incorporating all the comments that you had at the last meeting.
Okay, good. All right,
Well, one of the comments that we did have was possibly having him alter the brick color per unit, but I don't think that's probably advisable now that I've been by and looked at it, when all the other units are uniform. So this would kind of stand out a little bit too much, I think, if we made him alter each unit, whereas the other ones, I've got pictures of it, they're all just one color, then this one would be kind of like a little bit different.
Do you think we
so.
could request a little bit more landscaping in terms of treescape? Because it just seems like a,
In the front?
right.
Okay. Well, we'll talk that separately, but, I mean, I just wanted you to know we did meet, and he was
Okay.
in agreement with all your prior comments, and we incorporated everything.
Yeah, I
This
saw
is-
the side design.
Yeah,
That
side
looked-
design,
Yeah, that
yeah,
looked,
he put the brackets, he
that looked
incorporated
good.
everything we needed with the windows and
yeah,
all
that looked
just goes for the
really
record.
good.
There isn't a lot of space for trees though, because they're right up against the
That's true.
road. Yeah, I mean, it's enough room for a car to park there. There's like really no front yard,
Yeah,
just a driveway.
tight.
The narrowest front door I've ever seen in my life.
When was this originally approved?
The original,
Yeah.
I'd have to
it's been over
check.
time, I think it's
Yeah.
gone through several iterations of and even, and he was even just doing that one block and then selling off
Right.
the others.
I think it's about 10 years old, 8, 10 years old, the development, I think.
And on townhouses, do we have a minimum setback?
Yes.
Is it a general minimum setback, or is it?
No, there's a setback, and he's meeting the setback.
I mean, it's the width of a car, and you see these are the same way, right? There's no
And
real
here's a
yards there.
question for you, Bob. Is the square footage staying the same on those? Because my question is on the zoning, I think we probably need to pull the zoning. I was around working with them when this all came down, when Fulton County Bethany Residents Association, and the question would be, I'm pretty sure we asked for minimum square footage, and that's not gonna be the minimum because his minimums are higher, I'm pretty sure. So I think we need to look at it,
I'll double check, but I think he was meeting the minimum square footage.
because I thought it was 2,000, because that's what all the others are that are there, which I would suspect was probably the minimum, and those are under that, so.
The minimum square foot requirements and possibly the color of the brick. We can look at it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any more comments?
The minimum square foot should show up on the recorded plat.
Yes,
So,
Yeah.
I mean, that should be an easy.
yeah, it would be a condition of approval.
Any other questions, comments? Let's move on to townhomes of Haywood Commons, 4 buildings. Todd Jones with Lenore Homes.
Good evening, my name's Todd Jones, I'm with Lennar. We are under contract to buy the remaining units at Haywood Commons. Haywood Commons is located at the intersection of Highway 9 and Deerfield Green Parkway. There are 4 remaining townhome pads in there, and we have them under contract now. We came in about a month and a half ago to meet with the city to try to understand what were the required approvals for us to go forward and build within there. And we met with the staff and went away with our marching orders as to what we needed to do. And since then, what we did is we have rendered each of the buildings for you tonight. We've got drawings for those. We've gone through and tried to keep in mind what was already out there and the kind of rural rustic feel of the city of Milton. And so we have picked all of the colors and rendered each of the buildings, and then came back again and met with the staff and have kind of talked through kind of what is needed to build, what they'd like to see, and some of the things that we've talked about doing, and again, keeping with what is out there. On the end units, we'll do a water table. We will also add windows where appropriate, or if we can't because there's a wall, we'll do some faux units with, have a faux window with some shutters. We'll also do some treatments in the end of the gables, which would be, let's take this building here, for instance. We will come on the side, we'll do a water table, we would do some end treatments. And again, keeping in mind that most of the units are in the back, we want to make sure that the two that face the street, they'll get the window treatments on the side, gable treatments on all of the buildings. We'll do water tables on the ends of all of the buildings, which again is in keeping with what's out there. The other thing that came up is on top of the brick that we will do on the front, we want to mix in, and working with the city, we want to mix in some different features on the front. So we had put a single car garage on all of them, but thought that also to kind of break up the look, we'll come in and do also two car, which will bring kind of a brick post down the center of the garage and make it two separate doors. We'll also come in and add some gable treatments, different varied siding in some of the gables with some of the color treatments as well. We'll also do 2-foot offsets like they're out there as well. We've gone through and picked different brick and paint schemes for all of the different buildings, so there's no repeating colors, repeating patterns, very similar to what's out there. Also what we talked about doing is, if we have some pictures of what's out there, we're gonna do, in between the garages or the driveways, we will do landscaping, plant trees to make sure that it is in keeping with what's out there. We will also landscape towards the end of these buildings. Down the middle between them, there already is heavy landscaping between them. And we will come in and soften that look up a little bit like they've done on some of the others. We'll put some additional landscaping there. You know, if you'd like to go, we can go through each of the individual units, or we can talk about what's out there, but this is what we are hoping to do and come in. Again, we have rendered all the buildings. We'll come in at one time, submit for all of the townhome plans at one time, and move forward in the community.
Todd, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
On garage doors, especially on a front facing where the garage door is such a prominent point, focus when you drive by these units. Is your plan to use the least expensive aluminum style garage door that you can, or are you guys willing to upgrade the garage doors a little bit to have a better carriage house type feel?
We didn't go with the carriage door because that's not what's out there.
Right.
But what they have now is just pure stamped aluminum. It's the kind of the builder grade. What we use now is very similar to a Deerfield. It's a little bit higher grade.
Okay.
And then again, we were trying to take the look and soften that because you're right, it is such a large square footage of the front of the house. And by adding posts on the different elevations, some with a full car, others with 2-car garage.
They'll all have the hardware?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I know this will be probably a silly question. How many feet between the garage door and the curb?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember. It's exactly what's out there today. I mean, we're not changing.
Right.
It's going to be about, I think it's about 20 feet is what they are right now.
I think that's the minimum.
Is it? Because I actually own a unit in,
In here?
well, it's one of the ones off Morris Road, Latham View. If you have anything bigger than a Dodge Stratus, you can't put it in front of the garage door. And you have very limited amount of places to park. And so I guess some of the questions I got are generic in term, but,
Sure.
you know, trying to cover parking in the pads as it relates to these properties and how these people fit in there, because some of them obviously have more than 2 cars.
Sure. We currently building around the corner in Deerfield proper. And, you know, what we have seen there is, again, the square footage runs about 2,000 feet. We have a 3rd-story walk-up.
Mm.
Most are first-time home buyers.
Right.
That are buying our homes, which is.
Our daughter lives in one.
Yeah, which is kind of nice to see again. But haven't run into that so far, but I hear what you're saying.
Soffit and fascia material, are you just doing wood, white wood, or are you using AZAC or?
White is prime tile.
Hardy plank siding.
It is hardy plank? Good. Yeah, because what I'm looking at is, because I can even look at the unit that is now that we have that's I don't know how old it is, it's probably, what, 7, 8, 9 years old. And it's amazing how much work has to be done on it currently, because there's so much white pine on the outside of it that's not been maintained by the association properly over
We're seeing
time.
that now out there. I mean, I was out there the other day, and they're going unit by unit and fixing and painting, and they're redoing a good bit of the units. Some of the shake, you can see where they're kind of coming off. We also provide the aluminum windows, so they don't have maintenance issues like the wood windows that they have.
Okay.
I had a question on a couple of units, like looking at like 14, 18, 13. You've got shutters on several of these, but on those you don't. It seems like it might be more uniform to kind of go with shutters on all of them, just to kind of keep uniformity. Kind of just looks a little different not with the shutters. I mean, granted, it looks like there's room on at least 2 of these. I can't tell on 13 if there is.
On 13, there would be, because that's a bump out.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
14, there absolutely could be. You know, some of the things that we talked about with the city was also using maybe some different treatment of materials and maybe not just always brick. Again, we were just trying to offer up a little bit different flavor when looking for the streets, and not every, you know,
Are you talking about gable treatments?
talking about you.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, I like that part when you mix up the gables, because obviously it doesn't look like it's just a stamped product out there. And my concern on the design review portion of it is that, you know, everything looks good when it's new. It doesn't look good 10 years or 20 or 30 years down the line, so what the things that I have concern with is how it's gonna age and what it's gonna be like in.
We do too. I mean, we're a publicly held company, and you know, while people are buying them, they do call and want to make sure that their product lasts a long time. So we're the same mind. We want to make sure that they last forever, that we don't get calls.
I think, real quick, I spent a little bit of time out there, and I think the product is very consistent with what was built, and I do think that a lot of the older homes that have deteriorated, I think the materials that we've been using for the last 10 or 15 years are definitely better, and hardy plank is wonderful. I mean, that's, 15 years ago we were using wood product and it's deteriorated and needs painting all the time, but with hardy plank, I think it and I believe that's what was built out there, has held up very well. And I think what Lennar's put in front of us is definitely consistent with what was built out there. So,
And I may have been out of line to ask for the trim treatments and stuff like that, because obviously I get to see the benefits of it or the lack of benefits of it later on as you go down the road.
Lonnie, can I just add, we did meet with this applicant earlier today and went over, and he is willing to put more treatment, moldings and brackets and the gable end treatments. And one of the issues that did come up, though, that I want to bring up to the board is that under the Highway 9 overlay, there is the potential for the sides and backs to have 75% stone or brick. He's not showing that here, and we brought it to his attention, and he may want to go for a variance on that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, again, what we were doing was trying to keep with what's out there. Right now, they have brick on the sides and no brick on the rear, except for the buildings that face where you're driving down the road, you look directly into the back of the units. They have brick up part. But otherwise, anything that's on the side where you drive by, they have brick up the side of the home, and then and there's nothing in the back. So whatever's in keeping with, we'll do whatever we have to do.
So what you're basically saying is that he's gonna have to have a variance to go brick versus stone?
I believe he's going to need a variance.
He'll need a variance if he wants to.
Can we grant him that variance, or
No.
by virtue of
No.
approving? So the DRB cannot do that?
No.
But we can make a
Well, I
recommendation.
think it would be good tonight to say, is the board as a whole, okay with what he's presenting, or would you say, no, I'd rather just stay with the brick? I mean, would you support
Yeah.
the design or not? Because then he's gonna need to know that once he goes for the.
Well,
whether or not he should go
like I
for
said,
it.
I mean, I understand the overlay. I think, I don't know if this is a, you know, I don't know if I'd call this a hardship, but it's consistent with what was built out there. So in keeping with the architecture that exists, I don't feel any need that it needs to have brick on the rear nor on the sides. And even if there was mandatory, I like the look. I don't like it all bricked up on the side. It creates a very institutional look. I like it when it's broken in on the first floor, and then there's a different material up top, whether it be, you know, hardy plank or
Yeah,
hardy
similar to
shake.
this one here. that
Yeah,
you did with that.
it's a better look in my opinion.
What is it current, is
Which
it,
is what we discussed earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, he agreed to put a water table,
Yeah.
brick water table, and then to come up with siding, break up the band.
Yeah.
And then come up and then give it a gable end
It's a
treatment with
great-
some
great
detail
look.
up there. I think
Yeah.
it's a much more classic look.
It is, yeah.
But again, it would require variance, and so I didn't know, you know, what your direction.
is the, but it currently are the sides,
Currently, it's half brick,
okay,
and then it goes up to siding.
yeah.
Yeah, you can
And that's
see
what
on
it
this
should,
one.
that's
Yeah.
what we should stick with then,
Yeah,
That's what it is.
okay.
I think as long as we're consistent with,
that's what they've committed to.
And, yeah, and then on the side as well, are there shutters currently? Cause it seems like, There's a
think-
window,
I think
it's-
if he puts windows, he'll.
I would put a
he's
shutter.
agreeing to shutters.
yeah,
Yeah.
it just seems like
It seems
consistent.
like
Cause you got it on the front, it seems
Yeah.
like,
most of the, you don't necessarily see shutters. If there's a window on the side here, we didn't see shutters. But if that faces a road,
yeah, I would do
then they
that.
were putting shutters. So we
Yeah.
were thinking, same thing here, for any
Mhm.
windows that were on these two buildings facing the road, as you went around, we'd shutter those. And in keeping with the other
Mhm.
units, you know, these are away and in the back,
Mhm.
and you won't see them because they'll be facing away.
So,
Okay.
but what I'm hearing is that, I think they're saying that maybe if you stay with half brick,
Mhm.
keep it consistent with the neighborhood.
On the sides only, though.
One of the recommendations now, and maintenance is a big concern of mine because I'm not.
Can you come to the mic for me? 'Cause-
State your name for the record.
Chris Recker with Lennar. Maintenance is a big deal because I'm in charge of warranty, construction, architecture, the whole 9 yards. So I don't mind going all the way up to the first floor plate with the brick, but you have to maintain that. And it's a heck of a hard job to maintain that when you have a leak or any kind of water getting in, when you can't see it or get to it. So what I was proposing is just going with the normal water table around, with a brick water table, 2.5, 3 feet around. It's not really that big of a deal to us, but as far as maintenance, so if you guys are okay with that, that's what we'd like to propose, but if not, we can go the.
Oh, I see.
What are they doing out there now, Chris? It's going up to the first floor, isn't it?
They have it going up to the first floor
Yeah.
on the sides.
Yeah.
In the rear, I don't think they have anything.
Only one building that
On
faces.
the rears, no, there's no brick.
And there's actually one building that doesn't have brick on the sides at all,
Ah.
which is odd, but.
That's weird. Yeah, it fell through the cracks.
They ran out of brick.
You're asking for a variance
So he would be asking for the
It is
variance,
to
not
go to a water table,
to go to a water table,
which is only 3 feet high.
yes.
Yeah.
And add those breaks and details on the sides to kind of break it to
now, on these ends that face on Gardena Lane, right here, these two, they have windows on this side facing out towards the road?
There will be a couple windows on that side,
Yeah.
depending on the other side of the unit.
Two single shutters on those.
We just added it.
Yeah, I see there's some
You know,
penciled in stuff here.
depending on how everybody wants to do this, I don't really have a preference personally to whether the whole side's brick, half the side's brick, if it's done hardy plank with band boards around it, dividing it up so it doesn't look like it's one just big tall wall. So my version would be going to one big tall wall that's all one material. So depending on how everybody else feels, half brick's fine with me. If you divide it up with band boards, with drip cap on top of that, so it gives it some definition on the side. So what I'm really looking for is three-dimensional definition on any view that faces the street.
We can do
So-
it either way. We could, I think when talking with Bob, we talked about the 3 foot so they could reach that place to maintain it. And then when
Right.
we went up to the second floor, when it's starts that gable, run something across, break that wall up, so you almost have three separate planes that you're seeing.
Do you put band boards down at the bottom before you get to your soldier brick?
Good? Sure.
Because that would picture frame it and make it look really nice, give it a lot of definition. And that would be something that would save you money over bricking halfway up.
Would that be okay, Steve?
Yeah, that's, yeah, I think that, like I said, I'm not a big fan of bricking all the way up. If they go up with a water table and do the bands, I
You
think
see
it's
what
got a
I'm
good
talking
look
about,
to
right?
it.
You go up
And
three
I see
courses,
some
then you
kind
got
of windows
10-inch board band and 10-inch
penciled
board
in
band, and
here.
that's there, and you
Are
have
those
another one up there.
faux windows, or are those
You know,
real
personally, I'd
windows?
like to see them taking board band and windows,
Those are
but
the
unless
windows
the
we
design of the
discussed.
whole.
Oh, you
complex
discussed,
is that way.
okay.
We had discussed, we're gonna add windows on the end.
Okay,
And
yeah,
just do them standard on the plan. In occasions where possibly a kitchen backs
Yeah.
up to that,
Yeah.
cabinets, we're gonna have to just box it in.
Yeah.
Do a roll lock around and put the shutters in.
okay,
That's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they're okay with it?
yeah, absolutely.
And then on the front facades, is it, I wasn't clear, are we modifying every other one and doing different stepped, or what? I mean, I wasn't quite clear what,
What we had talked about on every other one was a different garage, so one would be a two-car, one would be a one.
okay,
And do some gable treatments. And then on a couple, we'll try maybe a different material, kind of soften up rather than brick on all of them.
okay. And then what about, so some would have shutters, some wouldn't, or
No, we'll add the shutters.
on all of them?
I think after your
Well,
comment, they're willing to.
Where they're at, where they will fit.
Right.
Now, are you thinking about putting stone on any of the faces of these buildings, and if so, are you gonna put artificial stone?
We don't do artificial stone,
Okay.
and no, we weren't doing.
Okay.
it.
So, all right, so there are one-car garages, because I
No,
saw,
they're 2-car, they're 9x7s versus a 22-foot.
oh, got it, okay.
It would just be
Got
two
it.
separate doors.
Two bays.
Oh,
Kinda
got it,
break
got it.
up a little.
Yeah, yeah,
Instead
yeah,
of just
okay.
seeing
Yeah,
door,
I
door,
was
door,
confused,
door.
Okay.
so you're saying either a one garage door
I'm
or,
sorry, maybe, yeah.
yeah, or two garage doors?
Right,
Yeah, I was
well-
gonna,
Two 9x7s.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna,
Okay.
okay,
Yeah. But to break it up, because the
Yeah.
garage door actually constitutes about 30% of the facade. So
right,
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is a big, and it's at street level,
yeah.
so you're
Okay.
really seeing quite a bit.
You gonna have enough room there, to do
Yeah, we're doing
with,
that in
with a
here
post?
right now.
Yeah.
No, we have two elevations of these plans, so.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that'll look better.
And I think you brought the actual brick too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if
If
anybody
you
had
need to see
questions
it.
about the brick, we brought brick and paint with brick. If you want to talk about individual units,
My wife's hit that center post twice.
Yeah, the center post.
what's that, sorry?
My wife's hit that center post
It looks
twice.
better, but I've got white paint on my truck out there from center post.
Okay, so if I understand, we're gonna go ahead and approve this as it's presented.
Right, so we'll need a vote, and then somebody gets to list all the conditions.
Okay. Let's make sure that we cover all the conditions. One.
Write them down for us.
Okay. Condition number 1 is that the buildings are to be built in, consistent with the existing structures.
So you might want to add to your approval of a variance, if, it'll come back to
That
you
would
if necessary.
There's a little bit of inconsistency, as you
In
guys
the
say.
buildings themselves.
Yeah,
But we're gonna define ours by saying that we're gonna allow for
Okay.
clapboard sides
got it.
with a water table brick, with
Okay.
band boards at the base before you get to the soldier brick.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, since we do have gas, we might want to ask for public comment.
Oh, I'm sorry. Any guests wanna have a public comment to? This, okay.
Thank you.
Councilman,
So we're doing
city manager.
the band boards. Hey, Todd,
Sir,
we have agreed that the band boards are at the top of the soldier brick and at the first and second floor band.
I just want to get clarified, just to make sure that I understand.
on top of that.
On top of that, inside, and then we get the gable started.
far as maintenance goes, you're gonna put a 1x10?
1x10 with a drip cap over top that sits on top of it.
Okay. I like the look of it, but as far as having to warranty it and maintain it,
Well-
could be a problem. But we can do it. I don't want it to be a sticking point for sure.
Well, I mean, I've built most of the ones I built that way, and I've yet to have a warranty problem with that part. Now, obviously, I only warranted my houses for X period of time, and some of them are 20 years old, and I may go back to those. But I would imagine with AZAC trim cap and you put your L bracket metal into it, then I don't see where you'd really have a problem with it leaking. But there's always potential it can leak anywhere.
So
I
do
think
you want
it's-
to just
I
go
think
ahead
it's
and list the
more market,
conditions?
yeah.
I mean, does everybody on the board agree with the drip cap being on top of it? And
Yeah.
because the reason, other part of it is, if you don't put the drip cap on it, then you're going to dead end right into your it's a 3/4. It's not quite a 3/4 board, but you'll dead into it and then.
We'll do it right.
Okay.
I'll do it so it won't leak, believe me.
Oh, I mean, I understand, but I'm just trying to get to the.
Okay.
I'm not trying to make you do something that's unfair
Yeah.
or cost prohibitive or any of those things.
I think Todd drew it up. I'm just trying to make sure I understand it. So we're gonna go up 3 feet. Then come with a 1x10 above that,
Mm-hmm.
and then go to the first floor.
Mhm.
Top of the second.
Between your first and second floor,
No,
where your band
first and
is.
Second floor.
First, second, okay.
Mhm.
Like
Another one by,
Right.
another one by 10. Yep.
okay, and then
That'd
going
be
up, and then we'll do a eyebrow.
Or if you want, yeah,
Across the top.
Oh,
I've
okay.
got it.
yeah, there you go. You got
On
it?
the end units, you'll
Yeah,
do
do
an
that.
eyebrow?
Right.
Yeah, on the gable end.
Yeah, and that's the
Yeah.
easiest.
That's
thing
gonna
to
be a
do,
great
the
look.
eyebrow.
That'd be a great look.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah.
It'll be,
And
First class.
on the drawing, we even talked about maybe little brackets on the
Yeah.
bottom of the eyebrows.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
that
really
is-
give
this
us
is gonna
that
look-
little
That's gonna look good.
Yeah, look nice.
I just don't want you guys to come in and think that we're trying to oppose what you want. We're just,
Believe me, I just want to walk away knowing, understanding.
Okay.
That's all. So, sorry for all the questions.
well, it's hard for us sometimes because what we individually like on this board may be all different. And so, it's a negotiation, I guess, among ourselves and with you to have your input. I don't want to ask you to build something that's harder for you to build. So we've got our recommendation for the
And
change from a solid brick side, is that correct? To a clapboard based on the 3-foot water table and the 1x10s with drip cap and an eyebrow at the top. At least one of us is really good.
trying, I don't know if I have it right, but.
So you got side windows, they got gable end details,
Mhm.
the garage door variable, these varying garage doors.
Right.
The water table on the sides and rear.
36, what, 36 inch? Is that what,
36 is normal.
36?
Normally is the 36,
What's 36?
the height of the
It's
water.
actually,
Oh,
it's not 36, because what you have to do, if you do that, where the window sits,
Okay.
on the
Yeah, I
bottom,
was gonna say that may
and you
conflict
can't
with
do
your
that.
windows.
It's going to be
So,
from the bottom of the pad.
4 or something like.
Pardon me?
It's like 2 foot 4 inches. something
Right, because you're going to
like
have the 6-inch slab that you go down to your brick ledge.
minimum of 2 feet or something, 24 inches, yeah.
that. That's fine.
Yeah.
We just do it up to the bottom of the window so we can have that.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And it
Do-
drains properly.
Yeah.
That's all.
Did we say, are they bricking all up or changing half brick and?
They
We're-
are going with the
Water table
24-inch
board.
water table on the sides. They've got a 12-inch band board.
10.
And then, 10-inch band board. They go up to the first floor, and they go another 10-inch band board.
With drip cap.
Okay, so, but on the front facades,
Oh, on the front?
yeah, are
No.
we doing brick all the way up or half brick and
It
then,
looks like there's all brick.
yeah, it did,
And I
but
think
did
that
you
no, I-
recommend to change that?
No, I don't think
Okay.
so.
But he
Okay.
said on some of the, just to vary it, some of the gable ends, he might, you
Do-
were suggesting. to
Do
put-
Yeah, go to
hardy plank?
hardy plank cedar shake type style or.
If necessary. I mean, again, we're going for low maintenance on it. We want to keep that look, the rustic look to it.
brick though now.
Well,
Some of them have accents of.
some of them have accent.
Oh, no, you're right.
Yeah, well, it looks like
Most
these
of
are
them.
all half brick up and.
Right.
And his design is a little bit different than the design that's there now
Right.
because it's a flat
Would you
face
like to see
versus.
additional photos? I have them if you need them.
So,
Yeah, that's wood. So, do they have that? What's it?
They usually have all this, just call out the unit, like 13 would have,
Like 13 would have that front box bay would be, hardy plank and, wood trim.
Yeah, I see
You
that.
can just take this and scan your fingers. You can see the differences. See, some of them do have it. So I was thinking, you know, do the, some of them have it. So it's up to you. You can scan.
That'd be hard to vary that one at all.
Put a what a pick in.
Out there.
I mean, you know, first time home buyer. Brick's
That
better.
one looks like stucco.
Yeah.
Tell from here. Something got the brick ledge.
so above the garage, you're thinking maybe going with a hardy on some,
That's what's there.
above the garage?
Yeah. We know really they're going
That's-
from a completely different look than
Yep.
what's there now.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, this look that you've got is different than what's there now, which I'm okay with because I don't like the institutional look of it anyway.
I
So,
agree with that.
It's not that the buildings are bad that are there.
Yeah, but the people that already live there, HOA, I mean, is that gonna be?
Unless they've deed restricted in the HOA associations to what the style and structure can be, then it just doesn't matter. I mean,
Most
it
of
might
the
matter.
residents are renters anyhow.
Yeah, how is your architectural review for the HOA? Is that,
it's all done,
it's all done?
They've approved this drawing.
Well, then,
I'm,
they've approved it.
yeah,
Say stick with it.
I like a mixture of materials. So if it goes with some hardy on the front, as long as,
Not everyone, but.
yeah.
Right.
No.
It,
Kind of
you
break
know,
it up a little bit.
breaking it up
Yeah.
is
It
a good look.
Yeah.
So,
It softens it and it is
Right.
consistent with what's there.
Yeah.
So when you say hardy on the front, like in this gable, this side gable.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah,
Or here.
Right.
You just kinda add.
yeah, I mean, that's hard to get brick up there and get it to stay.
And that's easy enough.
Yeah. I mean, in not, in,
If
in,
at all
ar-
possible.
you know,
Oh,
in areas especially where, you have problems structurally, certainly that makes sense. I mean, like where you pointed, that's a tough place to, unless you put your gable over top of the brick. Is that what you do? I mean, but I think that area's,
It would work.
well, it works fine,
It
yeah.
would work fine.
Okay, I
Is
got
that
it.
right?
Yeah, but, I would like to try and maintain the brick in the main area.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And just like you said, the structural areas like over the door, even though we do have a nice jackarps there.
Uh-huh.
But that is tough because we have to put the angle iron to
Right,
support it.
yeah.
Go ahead and put that as maybe a shake or something. in
Yeah.
there. Does that sound good?
Shake's great.
It makes sense, especially where it's
Hardy
already
shake.
structural.
Huh?
Hardy shake.
Hardy shake, yeah.
Yeah, we would do.
So that,
Yes.
what we just discussed, it comes up in potentially.
So how do we write that as a condition?
Well, you could just say the.
Front elevations shall be a
elevations.
mixture of primarily brick with accents. Is that a fair condition?
And the problem is going to become the definition of what primarily is.
Well,
Well, by the ordinance, it has to be at least 75% brick or stone, and then they are allowed to do 25%.
okay.
Yeah,
So does that
I think
work,
it would
does
say
that work, does that work for you guys, Todd? 75 and 25?
75 or greater.
Right.
It's just,
Yeah,
like on, the only thing I'm thinking of is if it's applicable to every unit, then
yeah, I would, that,
that makes it hard when it's just this is
Right.
when it doesn't have a separation.
I don't think they would look at it individually.
I think it's as a building.
Right, you can just say that some of the units will have accents of shake or hardy plank, or you can give a percentage, or you can, every other one, or 2 out of every building, so you've got some flexibility.
I think it's kind of the look of the entire building than the unit, because one may have, yeah, huh?
You can just say where appropriate.
Where-
you know.
I would say we're
If you wanted to
Yeah.
describe
Some-
them,
Leave some
why don't you
leeway
say,
there.
on the front facades that have the double gable,
That
one
one
of
has
the,
two on
the
that.
gable end will have, shake or side.
This one had 3.
Because it's the ones that he's pointing to, a double gable.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay. I think I have this figured out.
Okay.
Longer one was 3.
Those would be the only ones.
Can I just ask, who's gonna be responsible for landscaping those, kind of common areas in the building?
Everything outside the building will be maintained by the HOA, so all the yards, everything.
Building grass, put them in there by you, or?
Anything disturbed would be sodded, so anything, yeah, all of this will be, sod, so
Okay.
it'll look just like everything here. Anything that we disturb will sod, and then it'll all be, at the time we close all the common area outside of what we buy, will be deeded over to the HOA from that maintenance.
Good. So at least we got
yeah.
the landscape covered too. Because it's considered common, but at least they'll sod it.
Yeah, I mean, anything disturbed, we will definitely sod, make sure, absolutely.
Well, Laura, since you've taken the time to write it all down, would you like to make the recommendation?
Yeah, I hope I have, I'm still, hopefully this is correct. If not, please correct me.
Okay.
All right, I am making a motion to approve, let me get it right.
Before we vote on it, and Laura reads these off, if we could just kind of hear from you guys, we're good, or we may need to change some wording here before we go and vote on it, okay?
Yes?
Because it's kind of a long list.
Well, yeah, so go ahead and state them before you make
Yeah,
your motion.
that's right.
Thank
Yeah.
you. All right, so I've got item 1, change to 3-foot water table brick, correct?
Yep.
I think we need to change that to
No, it was.
24
24 inches,
24 inches.
because we won't be able to
Cut
get
into
the
the
window.
windows.
Yeah.
And
24
that would be
inches.
at side and rear.
Water table
And
brick.
in your motion, can you, I just want to make it clear that that would be per the approval. You would support the approval of a variance for that.
Did you, Bob, you say rear? I didn't hear rear, because I thought there was no brick on the rear.
I think you said rear. Would you wrap it on the rear?
I think there's some confusion as to whether they want rear or not.
I didn't hear.
Yeah, we were only talking about the size.
We're only,
from what I
we're only
understood.
speaking of the
All right, so
sides.
just sides.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay, I just want to make sure we're covered.
okay, so 24-inch
Porches and stuff.
water table, brick, side, not rear. 1x10 drip cap.
1x10 band board with drip cap.
1x10 band board. With drip cap, second floor, correct?
Second floor 10-inch band board with drip cap.
Okay,
And the apex gables, which I'm gonna put your eyebrow on, right?
Yes.
okay.
Call it
I-
an apex gable.
Apex gable. Eyebrow, and those are on the end units?
Mhm.
Okay.
And additional windows.
And additional windows.
Before we go past additional windows, we gotta establish what that means.
Yeah.
What, additional windows?
Yes.
I-
Are we talking about on the end units for the additional windows that are not per plan?
Yes.
And how many windows are we talking about?
It depends on the plan, but I would say, 3 to 4 windows per side. Because
Let's
right
put
now
down a
we're actually-
minimum, your minimum then would be 3?
Yeah. that sounds about
Minimum 3 windows per.
All right, so on end units, minimum 3 additional windows, and that's with shutters? Thank you. And then we've got, second item, varying garage doors on units. Third item, front elevation mixture of brick with hardy plank, accents of 75% or great, or I'm sorry, on the brick. So front elevation mixture of brick, minimum 75%. Is that correct?
I would say, just to make sure it's not 75% on each unit, it's
75%.
per brick, per building,
Per building.
per building. Okay, is that,
Yeah.
yeah, because some of them may have a little less, but some of them may have all brick.
Or
So as long as
greater
a
per
75%
building.
building.
All right, so I've got front elevation mixture of brick, minimum 75% or greater per building. And then double gable, on double gable units, gabling will have shake, hardy plank shake facade.
I think we should say the word may have. hardy
May.
plank, because they may not choose to do that.
Yeah, that, I mean,
Okay.
we could keep that, or since we're adding the accents anyhow, is that necessary? I mean, could that, I'm just worried about, we have a gable. I'm okay with it, but if we have the gable here, I was saying probably to do some cedar shake up here
Uh-huh.
on this one, and then just leaving that brick continuous
Yeah.
here.
Right.
And I wouldn't want it to be misinterpreted.
No, I think we understood that it would be the portion between the first gable and the top. That would be,
Let me ask a question, Bob. What do you think that's gonna look like when you have brick on one of the gables and check on the other when it's a 2 foot?
I-
I mean, what is that, 2 feet, 30, maybe 30,
Not much.
30 inches?
I think it would only be applicable and look nice and attractive on the double gable ones.
yeah.
You
I've seen
certainly
that
can't do it on
so
the
many
other ones,
times
it's just
where
too big.
that little area there
But it would
is,
work structurally too, Steve, for them. And
For-
When he goes to put the siding here, he wouldn't have to worry about supporting. it.
right, exactly.
I think you're okay with that.
Yeah, that's not, yeah, that's fine.
All right.
I'm not
I think it'd give you
sold
a
on
nice
the
look.
look, but I get it, so that's no problem.
Well, you have the option to brick it then. I mean, if you don't want the look.
Right.
It may,
Yeah.
Because I've got May.
That'd be great.
So what we're trying to do is give you a little bit of latitude to be able to come up with the right kind of building and concept that you really want to present to the public. And try to have a set of minimum standard of what we want. Because, we can't sit up here and dictate what we think. Because just because we think it looks good doesn't mean that that's the public.
Okay?
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
You're okay with that?
Yeah, that's great.
Good.
Appreciate your flexibility.
Good.
Okay, so
You got it?
I think so.
Okay, so you can.
All right, here we
just
go.
gotta read into the record.
Yes, we'll see how well I take notes. Okay, all right, I will make a motion for the Haywood Commons townhomes for buildings, for 4 buildings for a total of 27 units for Lennar Homes, to approve with the following stipulations. Stipulation 1 would be to, on the side exterior, change to 24-inch water table brick, and include, item 2, include a 1x10-inch bandboard with drip cap on the second floor.
First and second.
On the first and second floor, sorry. So, third, on the apex gable, or eyebrow on the apex gable, on those end units as well. And fourth item, additional on end units, a minimum of 3 additional windows with shutters. Item 5 on to also include varying the garage doors on the front facade. Item 6 will include a front elevation mixture of brick, a minimum of 75% or greater per building. Item 7, on double gable units, they may include hardy plank shake accents. Item 8, I think that's it. I think that's all of them. And then I think we also said to include front landscaping to match current units. I think that was the other one.
And that we would support a variance
Yep.
for a
And,
change in front facade. Is that correct?
right, number 9.
Hmm?
That was item 9.
Okay. That's going to be your motion.
Okay, yes, that is the motion for all of those, or that's that's the first motion. Anybody second? That was long.
I'll second our motion to approve this with these conditions. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good to go. Sorry, Todd. Took a lot of time.
Great, thank you. Thank you.
I hope I helped you.
No, you're fine. I'm just trying to get the note correct on that.
So see, there's that detail person that can write all the stuff down. Yeah, that's the next one.
Sometimes.
I'm going through my head to make sure. I got all this.
I was trying to get the building
So
correct
just
on that
the
B
sign
building
and
part. I
everything
wasn't quite.
deferred for Birmingham.
You want to go ahead and,
So that's it, isn't it?
Can you go ahead?
Okay.
we want to.
Isn't that the last thing we have?
Yeah.
Courtesy
Can you
review.
go ahead and actually make a motion?
Oh, yeah.
Well, go ahead and read the items so we can.
We have courtesy review V13-006 at 908 Birmingham Road. The Shots at Birmingham, request for a master signage package, and we've been asked to continue that.
Yes, staff would like to ask to defer this item until next month. We're still working out some things with them and gathering some information.
Okay, we have public comment, so would you like to step up here?
Good evening. I'm Julie Zonner Bailey, and I live at 255 Hickory Flat Road, Milton, Georgia, 3004. And this is obviously the first that I've heard that the case was being potentially deferred. So because it was publicly advertised, I would like to make my statements into the record. And I'll go ahead and submit this card. And I don't know, I got here a few minutes after 6 because this was last on the agenda. Was there some discussion at the opening of the meeting in terms of why it was deferred?
No.
Okay, so this was the first discussion.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. And one, I just appreciate the opportunity to present some thoughts for your consideration. If you do, as a board, obviously look to support the decision to defer. My guess is that between now and that next month, there'll probably be some analysis, I would suspect, from staff and from the community development director, and possibly from legal, just in terms of the process that this particular piece is going through. I would like to note that the application for this request, when it was initially submitted, was incomplete, and that's kind of a broad statement. For the record, just because I think it is important to highlight that before anything gets to this point, it's really important, whether it's a design review board item or it's a variance to go to the BZA or rezoning, it's really important that the information be as complete as possible, especially when the completeness is written into our ordinances as a matter of law. So in this case, it was lacking dimensions, precise locations. It was lacking specific material examples, precise comparisons of the request versus what's legally in place today was also not part of the original submission. And that just is not a good use of your time or the citizens' time or staff's time. And I know our city manager is here in the audience. And I would just say that I think it's, and one of our city council members, I think it's important just for any item that